Hello and welcome to Loot Level Chat, the podcast from Loot Level Chill. I'm your host, Mick Fraser, and tonight I'm joined by just two of the usual lads. We have Lyle Pendle.
Hello. I was you were really like on the edge of saying something, so I just wasn't sure if I should go for it, you know?
And Kieran Singh.
Hello.
Much better, Kieran. You were on the ball. Lyle just
You
fucking
I've ruined it.
cloud cuckoo land.
Yeah.
Just somewhere else. Hello, boys. How are we? All right.
Bit cold, but otherwise all right. How about
It's
you?
been chilly, isn't it?
It's
always
today.
cold, but yeah, today is a bad one. I've got a duvet on, a secret duvet on my lap, so I look all summery, but like
it's not secret now.
realistically.
I find that just wonderful that you're in like a summery shirt in a duvet. You're like my wife at the beach. My wife will take like a like a big blanket down to the beach, and the moment the sun peeks behind a cloud, the blanket's just out because now it's cold. Now it's a cold. Checking she's not behind me right now. She's coming back in a minute. So games. Hey lads, there's some games. It's good now. We've got games to play talk about every week. Some of them are even current now. We've all been playing some stuff this week. And in fact, we can start the game chat with you, Lyle, because you've been playing a game called Demon Tides, which traditionally, or should I say in keeping with tradition, I haven't got a clue what that is.
Oh, perfect. Well, you know, I think I'm sure I spoke about it on one of the bonus pods, so you probably should know what it is. But you know what? It's fine. It's a 3D platformer. And
oh yes, I remember.
Yeah, you'll get it. I mean, it's a name where it doesn't necessarily scream, oh, the 3D platformer. So yeah, it makes sense. But yeah, 3D platformer where the first game was really good and very much like had a like sort of complex precision control scheme. I describe it as being a 3D platformer for people who've been playing 3D platformers for like most of their lives, like me, where most of the time people who have been playing these games will get to play a Mario game and it'll be like the first half of it will be really, really easy because when you've been playing these games for most of your adult and pretty much all your childhood life as well, you know, you can kind of breeze through them when they're designed for like to be some 2-year-old's first game, you know? So Demon Tides is not that. It is very much like you're going to have your platforming hat on that we all get when we play platformers for as long as, you know, I have. And like, so like right from the start, you have all the abilities from the first game because there was Demon Turf before Demon Tides.
I've heard of that. I've heard of Demon Turf, yeah.
Yeah. And I reviewed that like 5 years ago, something like that. Really enjoyed it, thought it was good. You start with everything from that in this game. So like by default, you can jump, double jump, dash and glide, and by sort of combining these in different ways you'll either get more sort of vertical distance, more horizontal distance, maybe have a bit more control over where you're landing, and there's kind of a lot to it, but with like a really helpful tutorial it really shows you like, no, you should do your dash, your jump, your glide, you know, all the right order to get that maximum distance and, you know, get where you need to get to. And then once you've, you know, done this tutorial area, you basically let loose onto the open waves because whereas the last game was kind of like fairly like straightforward levels, although, you know, things to explore in them. This is like one big open ass world. Like it is a big sprawling ocean where you can go wherever direction you want. You can explore whatever islands you want. You don't have to like, there's no critical path that you necessarily have to be like, well, if I don't do this, I will be, you know, told off or I'll not get the new jumping power I need to do whatever I need to. Like it's just go in a direction, have fun. Wherever you go, you'll find some sort of platforming challenge and something interesting to do. So, you know, you'll get to one island and there'll be these big anti-gravity bubbles where it'll flip you upside down when you jump into them. So you'll have to sort of navigate how they, you know, change things up. You'll get to one area where it is just, and even though it's in the middle of the ocean, it's just skyscrapers sticking out of the ocean floor, and like scaling them's a lot different, and there's like different collectibles to find and stuff. So yeah, like a lot of what makes this game really fun is just the controls, which I really appreciate, the different abilities you've got, but also it's got some like really cool quality of life features that I just found really helpful for a game that is, you know, actually pretty hard to say it's a 3D platformer, especially. So like just by holding down think it's like the Y button by default. I'm pretty sure, but one of the buttons. You place a flag down, and that's just your checkpoint. And whatever happens, you can hold a different button, and you just go straight back to the checkpoint. You're fine. If you die, you go back to the checkpoint. So, if you know there's a tough bit coming up, then you just place the flag down, and it's not going to be the end of the world. You get to just keep going at it, keep trying. It's a lot of fun. Alongside that, there's stuff like it sort of does the Dark Souls thing where there's like messages from other players basically, but it's in the form of like spray paint. So whenever something difficult is going to come up, you'll always find that someone has spray painted a little flag down, and you'll be like, okay, gonna put a checkpoint down. Thanks. I'm sure I'd lose a lot of progress if I didn't.
Was it
also?
Sorry, was it Ori the Blind Forest that did the like customizable save points before? The first one did, didn't it?
Definitely was, yeah, where you had to place it down, and it was. I think with that, it was more of like you had like a limited supply or something, so you're always a bit like risk reward. Whereas this, it's just you do it whenever you want to. It doesn't cost anything, so it's more of a like this is just your safety net you can use whenever, and that's fine. So it's definitely a less sort of there's less stress to that as a system. It's more just this will help you. But yeah, that's really nice. And yeah, you get all these different messages. I mean, some young fucker who was playing this alongside me was spray painting 6s and 7s on all the walls, obviously. So not everyone who was reviewing the game's as cool as us. Yeah, dude. There was even a spray paint of one of the characters. He was sort of shrugging a bit, and it was close enough that they were putting the numbers in it. I can see what you were doing there.
Sounds good.
But yeah, like it's a nice. That's a cool thing. There's even a button to just point you towards collectibles, where it'll just be like if you're on this, if you're wanting to get everything on this island, and like it's just like the little coins you find floating about. It'll just give you an arrow in like that direction. Go for it, and it's just like it's a lot of convenient little things that make it less of a slog, basically. Like where sometimes there'll be some 3D platformers where you'll finish some sort of area, and you'll find out you got 170 out of 171 bits, and you just have to go through and check every corner forever, and it's not particularly fun, and I give up. But I'm not going to give up doing it on this one, because, that's...
Is it 2D?
It's 3D platformer,
yeah. Because I haven't seen it. Oh, that sounds interesting, though. Like, it does sound fun.
Because the first game was a 3D platformer, but it had, like, Paper Mario style 2D characters, and they are into 3D now. So there has been a 2D to 3D thing, but it's only visual, really. Yeah. But yeah, it's been a game that I have really enjoyed playing. It's entirely my shit. Like it was always going to be entirely my shit, and I'm glad
this was one of your most wanted, wasn't it? Like one of your most anticipated.
Oh, was it?
I do remember us talking about it. Yeah.
Yeah, it was on my most anticipated list for this year, and a lot of that was because I think I covered like a Steam Next Fest demo sort of late last year or something like that. So I knew I had a decent idea how it was going to play, and just like expanding on from that, it's like from those previews and all those sorts of earlier accesses to it, I have found it to be even better, to be honest. Like there were some systems that I wasn't sure how they'd work. Like you get talismans that you can equip, and they change different like elements of your ability, and it's not something you really see in like a 3D platformer as a genre. It's like the ability to change how your character functions. But like for me, I made it so that I always had one slot that had my glide ability also give me some vertical momentum, so I'd get extra distance with it. And you kind of think, oh well, surely it's sort of designed around everyone having the same powers, but because it's also precision and it's also like tricky to navigate, you just sort of need all the help you can get, and it's kind of cool to be able to play around with all these different abilities. Like I'd switch from that sort of way of playing the game to having a different loadout that was like you regenerate health and have an extra hit point, and I'd just switch to that if I knew a boss was coming up. And it's just got all these different ways that you can like customize yourself, which I'd associate more with like, I don't know, some sort of like action RPG or something, as opposed to fucking jumping around like Mario. It's a weird way for it to be, and yeah. It was a really cool mechanic. Like I just enjoyed so many of these different twists on the genre. Like, and then on top of that, it's fucking massive. It's an indie platformer, so I was expecting, good like 5, 6, 7 hours, you know, just enough that it would be fun. But like, this world is huge, and I haven't done everything in it. There are islands I just had to ignore because I was like, I've got to push forward as much as I can and
deadlines.
Progress. Yeah, I've got deadlines. I've not got all the time in the world, unfortunately. Yeah, it's massive. There's a lot to do in it. There's a lot of variety, and it just has some really, really cool elements that I just don't think has really been explored in the genre before. Like, it won't be for everyone because, I mean, some will be frustrated by it being kind of challenging. Because I know, let's be mean. He's not here. I know Adam would always prefer an easier game. You know, like he's always like, oh, he never really understands when I'm like, the first 5 hours of this game have been like, it's like they're for a toddler. What am I fucking doing here? So if he plays this, I imagine he'll be sort of like not particularly into that aspect of it. But if you're someone who, you know,
see, I prefer an easier game unless it's a Souls-like, then I want it to hurt me.
Yeah, unless it's exactly the opposite of an easy game. Yeah,
this sounds like a Masocore platformer.
Yeah.
Souls punk.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, that sounds good. I might pick it up because I think you probably reviewed it on Steam, right?
Yeah, I did. Yeah. So
yeah, and the reviews on the reviews on the site. You gave it a 9 because I just checked.
I did give it a 9. Really, really enjoyed it. Yeah, had a great time. It's been a good start of the year, 2026 for me. Like, I think I've got like 4 or 5 games in my sort of provisional top 10 list that I wouldn't be mad about being there towards the end of the year, and they're never fucking gonna be, are they? Because like,
no, it never is it?
Oh, we got anything to do with it?
Recency bias is just there's too much towards the back end of a year. Like, you always forget the ones that. If I always have games that hang on, like last year, First Berserker Kazan, like hung on, like all the way down until we were right when we were doing the pods, and then it just fell off the list towards the end. It's just but yeah, it has been a good start to the year. And it's going to get better, I think, because there's a lot of stuff. I mean, we're going to talk about it in the bonus pod this week for the Patreons. And we're going to have a chat about another, because it's funny you mentioned Demon Tides today, because we're going to talk about some more Most Wanted on that. So if you are a Patreon or you want to join our Patreon, do so, because you get an extra pod that goes out on a Wednesday morning. Usually it's something silly, quizzes and things like that, but this week we're going to talk about some upcoming games that we're looking forward to. And that brings me to neatly a game I've been playing recently, which is now it was called the Wanderer's Test for this game, and it was basically like a closed beta, but now it's finished, and that's a game called Sea of Remnants, which is pretty much, so imagine if you took Sea of Thieves and then like K-pop Demon Hunters and then like smushed it all together and then and then just released it into the world. It's a NetEase game.
I didn't realize that.
Yeah, it's a NetEase game. So you turn your nose up at NetEase, do you?
No, I just
the way you said it.
No, I recognize the name, and then I was trying to think, do I know who NetEase are? I'm pretty sure I do.
I was intrigued, and then I was just completely unintrigued. But no, it's it's NetEase, and it very much is. NetEase are getting very what's the word? They're finding their niche. Like, I think NetEase, because I know they've done like Marvel Rivals with them and stuff, but this is like their solo offerings, like Where Winds Meet, that came out the very back end of last year, which was kind of like it was like an open world wuxia with a lot of grinding and things like that in it, but the actual game itself is completely free, lots of content, pretty good, pretty decent combat, pretty decent world, looks pretty good. It's a massive open world game. And this is like what NetEase do when they do single players, like they do these big games, and they have a big like the online element is kind of, I think it's to sell you microtransactions really, but they're quite inoffensive stuff. So the games are quite large. There's a lot of content to get into. You'll hit a certain point where they become a grind, and it's fairly early. You get like 20 hours for free, and then it sort of becomes a grind. But then it's like the microtransactions are all cosmetic, so it doesn't feel bad. You know what I mean? It doesn't feel like they're forcing anything on you. And Sea of Remnants is a bit like that, except it's pirates. So it's like it's got a real, and it sounds weird to say it, but there's a very Korean element to it, if you know what I mean. Like it's got, because I always think of Korean games as like Japanese games, but they lean more towards like the magenta weird. Do you know what I mean? Like rather than the outright crazy weird that you sometimes get from a Japanese game, I find that Korean games sort of lean towards more of the like everything's, you know, bright colors and OTT sort of. And it's like that, and so it's basically like, it's a lot like Sea of Thieves in that it's set across like a series of islands in this like fantasy Caribbean, and like all the characters in it are puppet folk. So they look like people, but they're made of wood. Like they have joints and stuff. They're all like, I don't really know why it's relevant to the game or the world, but that's what it is. They're puppet folk, and it sort of starts off with your character, like washes up on the shore of this island called Orbtopia, which I'm sure they'll change. There's a lot of placeholders. Yeah, there's a lot of placeholder stuff. Yeah, Orbtopia, but I don't know why, because orbs aren't a thing. Like there's no relevance to it. And
if you collected loads of orbs, you'd kind of get it.
And sometimes the characters call it Otopia, and sometimes they call it Orb something else. So I think some of it might be placeholder because it is quite early, and there's some placeholder assets in there, and some of it literally says placeholder, so it's like it's unfinished. But yeah, you wash up on shore and you get rescued by like this watchmaker. Who sort of, and that's where you get to, because you start off just in a hood, and then when he fixes you up, he's like, let's get a look at your face, and then you get to create your character. So you can be like, yeah, male or female. You get to like change your face, and then you just pick like 3 outfits in this beta test, and they're just piratey outfits, just like real over the top Captain Sparrow type piratey outfits. And then you've got this girl who washed up next to you, this blonde girl who's unconscious. And when you go out into the world to do the tutorial, which is quite large, you go out onto this island, and it's kind of like, a chicken comes up and steals something off you, so you've got to chase the chicken and catch it. And it's like, it shows you like the parkour-y stuff, because it's got some mild parkour like in Assassin's Creed, where you just run at stuff and you'll climb up on ledges and things like that, cool. Which is quite good. And then you do this like tutorial, and then you catch the chicken, you get what it's stolen, and it's like, oh, go to the tavern now because you need a crew. So when you go into this tavern, you meet a girl who's the like a doppelganger for the girl who washed up ashore with you. But this one's fucking mental, and her name is RS, which again feels like a placeholder because it's literally the initials RS, which don't even roll off the tongue. But she's basically like Harley Quinn, Jack Sparrow. I know there's a rumor at the moment that Disney are doing a new Pirates of the Caribbean film, and Margot Robbie's going to be playing the lead, and they're going with a female like Pirates of the Caribbean lead. So you can imagine that's what this character feels like. She's just like mental. And like when you're introduced to her, she does this massive like song and dance number in the tavern while everyone's fighting. And it's like really over the top and really funny and really silly. And she's just brilliant. And then like you go out to explore, and she's like, "Oh, we're gonna steal a ship." So you go and steal a ship, and then we're gonna get a crew. So you go and get a crew, and the game literally just throws a crew at you. There's meant to be like 300 plus playable characters in it, like recruitable characters, but they have like, I think it's a bit of a cheat because there's certain archetypes. So I would imagine that it only matters, you know, like a Shikoden or Ayuden Chronicles, where you have got a lot of characters, but they all like feel the same kind of niches in a lineup.
You don't really need all of them. You're not going to like try them all out, you know.
So I think it's going to be a bit like that because all the characters have like classes. So you get a crew, and the game, this Wanderers test, this beta sort of throws about 8 characters at you, and they range from like, and it probably doesn't, there's no indication of whether this is true or not, but I think it's gacha, because the characters are all like color coded. So like some of them are like common white, and then there's like Do you know what I mean? Then there's like characters that their names are in.
That you feel like,
This guy's name's in purple and he's stronger, and this girl's name's gold and she's. So I don't know that it's gacha, but there's a good chance that it's either gacha or even randomized with the characters. But and then like when you make landfall, you select a party of 4, and like in this beta, it says, oh, you must have, like, in order to do the tutorial, you must have a character that classifies as coward, because the classes are weird. They're like buccaneer, blah blah, and then there's like this coward, and like the animation is such that he just shits himself all the way through the fight. Like every time the enemy does something, he like, oh! And then like when you do attacks with him, he's all like, oh! Do you know what I mean? Like it's really funny, really genuinely funny. But the combat's also turn-based, which I wasn't expecting, because you can run around in third person and you can like pull your sword out and break crates, or you can kill enemies outright if you get a hit on them. But when you get into combat, it's turn-based. It's like it goes like it's like Expedition 33, I guess, or Final Fantasy, where you line up and they line up, and then you have like a dice roll where you've got like this thing where it's like gambling. You can click the dice. And then you roll 3 dice, and like whatever they land on, you'll get a bonus. Like you get bonus damage to start the fight, and then like each character builds an ultimate meter. And so far, all the ones I tried had unique, like completely unique ultimate moves. But like once the ultimate is filled, you can just press the button anytime during combat, and it'll activate it. And then the next time it's that character's turn, they just do the ultimate. And like RS like pulls out like a little mini rocket launcher, and like it's that sort of crazy. It's just,
of course,
it's just really silly, but it's also really funny. Like the animation's really interesting, because it's like I said, they're puppets, but it's almost like it's like an anime feel to it. Everybody's really like over animated, and everything's quite loud, and it's just like really fun. And I loved it. Like I played about 9 hours of this beta over the course of a week, and it's just really fun. And like I know like you would expect it to be like, I don't know what I was expecting it to be, because the trailers are, there's like a 5-minute trailer where it's just like an entire song, it's like a music video, and it shows a lot of gameplay, but it doesn't show like the combat in that trailer. It just shows like the running around, and like obviously there's a lot of cutscenes and stuff. So I didn't know what to expect, but I played it. I just really liked it. Like it's too easy. Like the bit I played was obviously it's not finished, and it was really easy. Like every character's got like 2000 HP, and I don't think any fight in the game like dropped me under maybe half that. But yes, it was just really funny, and I'm not sure when it's due out. I presume it's going to be this year at some point. But there's no. Yeah, it's free to play. Like I said, it's NetEase, and that's kind of what they do. And like I said, Where Winds Meet is a lot more serious and po-faced. Like Where Winds Meet hasn't got a lot of humor to it. Do you know what I mean? It's very much like, it's just an adventure. It's a lot like sort of Rise of the Ronin or something like that, where like an open world martial arts sort of epic, and it's fun. Like it's a good game. But the grind takes over real fast, I found, in Where Winds Meet, or it did for me. Whereas this, I don't know where the grind's going to be in this, because like there's a lot of loot and you can put it on, but it doesn't change anything. So like the loot at the moment isn't cosmetic. It just gives you buffs and stuff like that. The cosmetics, I imagine, will be item shop stuff. But like there's a character you meet who's like another coward, who's like on an island called Jeff. And he's got like, and basically Jeff, once you rescue him, he'll go back to town, and then he fences your loot for you. Or like if you miss loot, he'll have it. Or if you want to sell loot to get like treasure coins, you do it with Jeff in the town. And there's a lot of different Jeff, yeah. And there's a lot of different vendors. Like there's loads of vendors about that sell weird stuff that I couldn't fathom, because it's not the finished game, so I don't know what most of it is. But like, and then when you're out in the world's beautiful, because it's like tropical. You're in like this great big tropical paradise, like Black Flag, where everything's just like, you know, sunny palm trees. Yeah, it's really, really nice. And it's funny actually. And but there's like puzzles, like environmental puzzles. There's one where like you find this thing and there's a note pinned to a tree and there's a chair and a statue, and then it's like a little riddle, and it's easy, but it's like basically you need to face them both towards the sun. That was like the answer to the riddle, which took me only a couple of minutes to work out. But then you get like a treasure chest and you get some stuff out of it, and then like there's characters who like want you to, like there's some guy's lost all his pineapples, so you collect his pineapples and you find the guy in the town, you give him his pineapples and he gives you a reward. And it's like got some cool open worldy stuff in it. But yeah, so it was good. Sea of Remnants it's called. I don't know, I'm not sure there's a demo. I don't think there is, but I imagine that it's going to be early access. It feels like an early access game, but I know NetEase don't tend to do that. They do sort of just do beta after beta, and then when they're comfortable with it, they'll just release it and then sort of patch it thereafter. But it's quite good.
Yeah, it sounds interesting, and if it's
Yeah.
free, it is going to be free. Then it's just give it a go, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, for the people who are watching on YouTube, I'll put some footage up of it over what we're talking about, so you can see it in motion. But yeah, it's quite good.
Yeah, I wasn't expecting to be interested from the start of the conversation. I had to bring up like turn-based combat and dice rolling and stuff, and I'm like, well,
parkour.
All right then.
Yeah, it is a mishmash of stuff. It's got a lot of random stuff that you would, but then it's got like a lot of Sea of Thievesy stuff, like arm wrestling and things like that in the towns. And like there's an area where I went into like basically a dungeon. Like you go to this cave, and when you go in, it's like this huge, massive underground cave where there's like bandits roaming around in little packs, and there's, like I said, there's more environmental puzzles, and there's like optional bosses in there that you like. It tells you there's like a giant bat, and it's just like you can't fight this yet. And then I was like, I'm going to try because it's been really easy, and I beat it because the difficulty's not balanced yet and stuff. But that was just like a small portion of the game. The only thing the only thing that it sort of let it down a little bit was that you go to this island at the beginning, and you do a load of stuff on it. Then you go back to town, and then the first place you go is back to that island again. But now there's people there. But I was like, I wanted to go somewhere else. Do you know what I mean? Like I ran around here and I found as many secrets as I could, spent a couple of hours there, and then I had to go back straight away. So I was like, would have been nice to have a different island, but I guess it was like a beta test. There's going to be a lot more in the full game, but
yeah.
So yeah, that's Sea of Remnants, and yeah, I think it's one to watch. It's not, I don't know if it's on my most wanted list or anything yet, but I'll definitely be looking forward to playing it when it comes out. And we've gone from Demon Tides to Sea of Remnants. We can't do another sea based one, but we can do Styx, and he's kind of a pirate.
he's something.
It's not much of a reach, is it? So you've been playing Styx, Blades of Greed.
Styx, Blades of Greed, yes. Yeah. The latest in the long running. I suppose it is long running at this point.
It is weird.
It's long running in the sense that they're spread very far apart.
I did some digging into that when I was doing the review, because I've played each of the games. In fact, I played all the games. I played, because it started with of Orcs and Men, which was 2012.
That was great.
And then I remember playing it, but I don't remember much about it. And then Styx got his own game.
Wasn't it?
Yeah, Spiders, yeah. And then Styx got his first game in 2014, and then another one in 2017. And then obviously the latest one was last week when you're listening to this. But the way the game opens and the way that the characters speak to you, you would think it's like a yearly installment, and that all these characters and this ongoing plot is just being, you're just used to it. You know who everyone is, and you know what's going on, because it's got a very strange opening. It's like it kicks off straight in the middle of a conflict that you're escaping from, and then you and your like motley crew of I don't even know what you are, to be honest. It's like not necessarily pirates, but your motley crew of like miscreants, I guess. The way they talk to you, it's like this is picking up from a story that you last put down last year, and I was just completely lost at the start of the game. Like I found it very difficult to care about the story after that, or care about the characters after that, because it just treated me like I knew this world intimately, when the last game came out nearly 10 years ago. And I played that game and I really enjoyed that game, and I don't remember much of it.
Like, you're not going to remember story details, especially. You know what I mean? Like,
or supporting characters like Styx. Styx is he's only in a few games, but he is quite a fun character. He is like I described him as he sounds like Geralt of Rivia if he didn't pay child support, because he's just got that sort of really like slimy, shitty like tone to his voice. He won't do anything for anyone unless it's going to help him. But there's a point in the game where I think they're basically trying to show you that if you get swarmed by these bugs, they will kill you. And you see an enemy walk into them and they swarm him and he's screaming for help. And Styx basically says, "Sorry, mate, I'm not going to help you because I don't want to get fucked up either." He is good. Like Styx himself is a fun character. I just felt like the supporting cast just didn't quite match his energy, and some of the voice acting for the supporting cast was a little bit all over the place as well compared to Styx. But it's not really the sort of game, like from what I remember the last two, it's not really the sort of thing you necessarily play for the story. You play it for the stealth. And as far as stealth games go, I think it's a really good one. It does some really good stuff. Like Styx himself as a character is so, considering the way he looks, and he's like a little hunched over goblin, he's so nimble, and you've got such a huge repertoire of like abilities to get around these levels. You can dash and jump and double jump and jump off walls. Anything that's like sort of waist height or lower, you can go under, and it will just go into first person. It's just sneaking around under tables and stuff. Plus, you've got all the magical abilities and things, and at times between that and the level design, which I'll touch on in a minute, it almost feels like the closest thing that I've had to a Dishonored game in quite a long time. It's like the stealth is just really, really good. So he's got like there's all sorts of abilities, but they basically fall into a couple of different categories. So you've got like tools, which you can craft them, or you can find them in the world, and it's simple stuff like a bolt gun. You've got like a little crossbow for shooting bolts and taking people out from distance, or you can throw handfuls of sand at lights, torches to extinguish them from a distance. Then you've got his amber abilities, which are like his innate goblin power abilities. There is some bigger story around who Styx is and why he can do what he can do, because I think he's the only goblin that can actually speak human language, and there is a reason for it, but I think it might have happened.
Yeah, I think that was.
Game, and I just don't remember.
I think that was an element.
You saw like Meowth from Pokemon, right?
Yeah, basically, yeah.
Yeah,
and there will be a reason for it. It's just in a game from like 12 years ago that I don't remember.
Yeah.
Yeah. Look it up.
Yeah. I should actually, to be fair.
Come on, Styx fans. Sound off in the comments.
Yeah, sound off in the comments, all your Styx fans out there. But yeah, he's got his amber abilities.
One day somebody will,
I know. I hope they do, because like I said, I do think it's a good game. I just think like it treated me like I knew what was going on, when it's been a long time since I last played that game.
Yeah.
But yeah, he's got his amber abilities, so they're like his Styx powers. That I think he had some of these in the previous games as well. So you can go invisible, which is really, really useful, and probably out of his powers, the one that I used almost entirely. I didn't really bother with the others because they weren't as suited to stealth as invisibility obviously is.
Yeah.
But you can spawn a clone and like throw it at people, and you can upgrade it so that way when it dies, it releases poison. It does all sorts of stuff like that. And there's another one that you can create cocoons as well. So you can create cocoons and drop them in the world, and then they act as like respawn points basically. But I'm a dirty save scummer, and if I got spotted, if someone even caught a glimpse of me, then I would immediately reload. Like the game's so quick to quick save and pull up your previous load and all that sort of stuff. So I just did it like the second I got spotted each time.
Like me in a Hitman game.
Yeah, basically, yeah.
Oh, and then I'm the exact opposite. I just like completely ruin missions, and then I'm just like, well, I guess this is what it's like now. There's going to be thousands of dead bodies, and I can't fucking help it.
Well, usually in a game, that's when it's more fun. Like, you know what I mean? When it goes wrong, the game becomes fun because you get to use all your little secrets and tricks. But I just can't take the tension. So if it goes wrong, I'm just like, no, back to the I'm doing.
It's different in Hitman as well, because he's like actually combat. He's good at combat. Whereas if you get caught in combat, then you're essentially useless. Like you can lock on.
The last game was like that, wasn't it?
Yeah, as soon as you're in like actual one-on-one combat, you're not much use. His power's better lent to sneaking around and stabbing people in the back, really. But you got his powers, and then earlier in the game, there's this in-game like power source called quartz, and he absorbs some, and for some reason it basically implants like a voice in his head of some sort of mysterious character. And then the conceit of the game is that you're basically going back and forth between these 3 different levels and looking for quartz, sources of quartz, and absorbing them, so then you can have another snippet of conversation with this voice in your head. But because of that, you also get access to a few different powers as well. So you get the ability to mind control, again a little bit like Dishonored, so you can take over enemies and walk them off cliffs and stuff.
Always fun.
Slow down time. The time slowing one was really useful. So there's certain enemies like bugs and stuff where you can stealth kill them, but it's not easy because there's like 6 of them in one place. So I found a few points where I was like low on health and everything. I would just use the time slow down ability and just sprint through till I could find somewhere safe to like move on to the next section. That's really good. And there is another one. I can't think what the power is, but he's basically got loads of abilities, and it's a good thing he does because the levels are absolutely fucking massive. So there's 3 levels in the game. Levels, calling them levels is almost a bit of an injustice, to be honest. I don't really know how to describe them. They're like multi-stage levels almost. So when you first land in the first one, which is in a city, you come in via airship and you land in the level, and you spend a good 30, 40, 50 minutes looking around this almost like a little shanty town part of the city. And eventually, before you leave, you find a checkpoint thing, which basically allows you to fast travel to that section next time you come back. There's about maybe 10 or 12 of those in that one level alone, and each one of them is spread out by about, like I said, about at least like half an hour's worth of traversal trying to get to it.
Then, isn't it?
They are massive, and they're not just like wide. They've got so much verticality to them, so you can go from all the way from the bottom of like the shantytown area. In the distance, you'll see like this huge tower, and at first I thought it was just like a bit of set dressing or something, but it's at one point I found you can attune to quartz that's in the area, and it basically marks it on your map. And I did that, and it pointed to the top of this tower. I was like, oh, apparently I can climb that. So you go to it, and getting anywhere can be time consuming at the start of the game, because you obviously got to sneak around and you got to jump across rooftops and scurry under like tables and stuff. But yeah, I found the level design so good. And again, that's one of the other things that reminded me a little bit of Dishonored, because it's one of those games where
it sounds like that.
Yeah, the level design's really good, and I'd actually say it's probably some of the best level design I've seen in a long time. Considering there's only 3 of these areas in the entire game. Yeah, there's so much to it. Like I said, it's the verticality that really got me. It was when you look at the maps that are at the checkpoints when you want to travel between them, and you click through them, you realize just how big they are and how high up some of them go, to the point where in some cases it was actually quite difficult trying to work out how to get to places because the maps are so big, and they funnel you down so many different routes. I was trying to work out how to actually get to my objective, and in some cases it took ages just trying to work that out. But yeah, it's a really good game. I think if you take it as like a set of stealth mechanics and a set of levels, I think it's fantastic. I think where it falls down a little bit is all the stuff that it's wrapped up in, and I suppose it's a bit of a shame because I'm quite when it comes to games, like the story is one of the most important things for me. I like to have like a good reason to actually engage with all the stuff the game's got, and that let it down quite a bit. But actually playing it, like the moment to moment gameplay is really, really good. And like I said, in terms of stealth, that's probably one of the best stealth systems I've used in a long time as well. So
it's kind of wild. I was not ready for that. Like I know you'd sort of talked it up, and in your review and everything, like I'd seen all that, but like I don't know. I just remember Styx as being such like a C tier thing where some people played it and like, yeah, it's all right.
Yeah,
like, give it
it's
a go.
One of those things that you don't expect that it's going to just get sequels, and then suddenly it just gets a sequel. Like of Orcs and Men was pretty good. Like it was all right. Like it was a Spiders game, and Spiders do their thing. And like I've always been a big fan of Spiders, like in general, like the stuff they've put out. And like because it's Spiders that are doing like Greedfall currently, and like I always wanted them to hit that point where they were just like fucking there finally. Do you know what I mean? And they got so close with Greedfall when they released the
that was a good game.
When they released the deluxe edition on PlayStation 5. It was like, I think I scored it an 8. It was the closest they've got to like, you've done it, fucking finally, you've done it. And then like obviously they've got Greedfall 2 The Dying World is coming out now, and I played that in early access, and they've just taken so many steps backwards, and it's out soon, and I really hope that they've recaptured it. But like, of Orcs and Men just sort of sailed under a lot of people's radars, and then all of a sudden there was like Master of Shadows, which was like a few years back, and it was like, this has come out of nowhere. I'll play it because I remember like of Orcs and Men, and they got rid of the big guy and they just gave you Styx, and like, because he was a genuine entertaining character. And I think it's weird that they like Lyle said, it is a C tier property, but like for some reason they're able to just like produce another one every like 5 or 6 years out of nowhere.
Yeah, it was only 3 years between the first two. It's just this one's like it. But then this one's just, it feels like maybe this was probably too long a gap between the last game and this for it to feel like you still understand what's going on, because there is quite a lot to that world. There's all the stuff around goblins being persecuted, and there's quite a lot of political. They've got there's lots of like tropes. So like there's a group called the Inquisitors, and I can't remember who they are or what they do, but I just know that they're there and they're not nice people.
Yeah,
there's
you
like
can imagine anything called the Inquisitors.
Yeah, bad. Exactly. And then you got the elves who like talk with like posh accents, and it feels quite like tropey at times, but not in a bad way. It's still it's still quite fun. I just wish that I'd been able to connect with the story and the characters a bit better. But yeah, Styx, it's a good game. Like if you like stealth games, then I don't see any reason why you should skip out on this one. It's a really good set of stealth mechanics and some really, really good level design.
What did you review it on? What platform did you review it on?
Steam.
Yeah. I think so Demon Tide's the review. There's a Sea of Remnants preview, and there's the Styx Blades of Greed review. They're all on the site now. So if you're interested in reading our written thoughts, a little bit more coherent than my rambling about Sea of Remnants, for example, then go and have a look at the website, check it out, and see what you think. And I think that's sort of a good place to sort of pivot, I think, because I'd like to talk about a little bit about the Sony State of Play that we had recently. I say recently, this is now going out. So State of Play was a good sort of week and a half ago at the time of this going live. But, it's a Sony State of Play, so it stays current for quite a while, and there was some good stuff shown on it by all accounts. A couple of surprises, and a couple of things that weren't necessarily like we knew were coming, but it was nice to see, like, we had sort of a bit more James Bond. What's the James Bond game called? Is it
First Light?
First Light, yeah.
First Light, yeah, that's it. 007 First Light. So they showed a bit of that, and
there was a few of the usual suspects, weren't there? There was Pragmata and Resident Evil.
Yeah,
we've been at every showcase ever for like the last.
I don't think I need to see any more of them at that point. To be honest, I think I've said that. Like I've seen enough of those.
I sort of lost interest in Pragmata when they just confirmed it wasn't really a clever remake of Mega Man or a prequel to Mega Man, and I was just like, I really wanted it to be, because that would have been really cool, but it wasn't. But yes, I mean, we'll get into it a little bit. What were some of the highlights according to you guys? Like Lyle, what sort of piqued your interest most?
For me, pretty much my entire highlight was the Konami section, minus the Metal Gear Solid stuff that Kieran will talk about in a bit.
Yeah, I would skip that, because the Castlevania was like, wow.
Like, the fact that there could be a new Castlevania game, I can't even really imagine that happen. Like, I'd long since lost hope, and in games at the moment, it doesn't feel like there's really much point in losing hope, because like we have so many things come. Like, we got a new Kirby Air Riders. Do you know what I mean? Like, you can have fucking anything come back, but like Castlevania was one of those things where it's like, that's really been gone. Like, that's been, like, Konami in general have sort of been gone in terms of making their own games for a while. And, bits have been coming back, like Silent Hill, which is, another exciting part of it.
That looked cool.
Like, but Castlevania is just one where, like, that hasn't been relevant and new for so long. Like I was like a fucking teenager when they were making good Castlevania games.
Well, it's got Castlevania is one of those things got to a point where now we get games that people make because there aren't new Castlevania. Like we had like Bloodstained, and like The Last Faith, and then like Dead Cells, because this is Motion Twin and Evil Empire, isn't it? This like who are doing this, which is just for me that's so poetic because like Dead Cells was hugely influenced by Castlevania. They did that whole Castlevania DLC for Dead Cells, which was really fun. And then it's these guys that are doing this new Castlevania game, and it looks great. Like I love Castlevania. For me, I'm a bit like you, Lyle, where it was just like a huge chunk of my younger years with just Castlevania, Castlevania after Castlevania. I even quite like the Robert Carlyle, the first one, Lords of Shadow, not the second one, but the first one, Lords of Shadow. I quite liked. I just like that world. I like that they're like vampire hunters called Belmont, and then like one of them's just called Trevor, which is just no offense to anyone called Trevor, but it's like if he was just called. It's like if you had like Keith Belmont,
Colin,
or like Colin Belmont. It's just like you've got Gabriel Belmont and Sebastian Belmont, and is it Sebastian? I can't remember. Then it's like Trevor.
There's so fucking many of them.
Yeah.
Who could have?
I called them like Alucard, and which was just silly.
Like the stupidest thing you could ever do to have a character, but sure, why not? Like, a totally weird, daft series from a time when that was sort of okay, even in a more serious context. And I also play pretty much exclusively as Dracula in Dead by Daylight, so like I'm still fully enveloped in Castlevania. So just what sort of works out for me. It's pretty good. But that was definitely a highlight for me. But like, pretty much everything Konami after that like really hit for me as well. Like the new Silent Hill, Townfall.
That's what I can't get my head. That's what I kept thinking. Hasn't there been a Silent Hill Downfall? But it was Downpour, wasn't it?
Oh, Downpour, yeah.
Yeah, there was Downpour. But like, I mean, it's gone first person, and I can't help but feel like Resi did it. So like now Silent Hill's doing it, and like it's just weird to me that it's like it's set in Scotland. And I know because we're English, British, and so like Scotland, like having a horror game set in Scotland just seems weird because it's just like that's just up there. Do you know what I mean? Like when it's set in like some mythical sort of Middle American sort of town where that makes it weird. When it's set in Scotland, it's like I don't know. That's just a bit odd.
I guess Silent Hill F had a different setting as well, didn't it?
That's true. Yeah. I mean, then they generally haven't all been set in Silent Hill, have they? Like they do move around a little bit, I think.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I've not played that many of them.
I always feel like Silent Hill is like the mood. Well, I haven't played a mainline Silent Hill since Silent Hill. What's the one? The Room.
Oh yeah,
Silent Hill 4, The Room.
And then I used to be able to play horror games. I used to play horror games, and now I just can't. I can't play Resident Evil. I can't play Silent Hill. I don't get on with horror and tension in games. Not what I play games for. But I will admit that Townfall at least looks different. Like it looks intriguing, and I like I think it's an African American like protagonist, which the series hasn't had before, and.
I mean, that's a game as well, isn't it?
Yeah. And I know they're
interesting.
Yeah, they've had a few. They've been a bit shaky recently, haven't they? I'm not entirely sure what the controversy has been around Annapurna, but I know they got rid of like quite a lot of their stuff, and I'm not sure what the details are because I didn't really look into it. But presumably, the studio's still going strong if they're producing like a Silent Hill. Do you know what I mean? That's quite. I mean, that's even if it's not great, it's Silent Hill. Do you know what I mean? It's got some cachet to it.
It's supposed to be the start of an anthology, I think, isn't it? Which is what excites me because I love a horror anthology. And
you do.
Yeah, anything like that, just like the Dark Pictures or any of the horror anthology movies, anything like that, I love. So even though this probably will scare the shit out of me, especially as it's first person. Actually, first person makes it so much worse.
It does.
I still want to give it a go.
Yeah,
that Konami section was good actually. The Octopus game as well, which I don't know if anyone tried the demo for that.
I didn't, but I did think it looked good. You tried the demo for it.
Yeah, it's really cool actually. It's like a side-scrolling stealth platform. That's like a little bit of platform. I guess it's stealth is probably the best way of describing it. But it's It's very like
and you're an
Metal Gear
octopus.
Solid coded. Yeah, you're an octopus. Yeah. So you can jump and swim and you can camouflage yourself. And there's like a plot. I think the plot is like aliens are basically invading, and the enemies are like aliens posing as humans. So you've got to try and like escape from this facility that you're in. And there wasn't much more to it other than that, to be honest. Just escape from the facility that you're in. It's a demo. I didn't expect much more than that. But it's really fun.
Does it say
charming?
Did it say tactical octopus action anywhere?
Yes, it did.
Did it really?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I haven't even seen it, and I was like, oh, good.
Yeah,
because I love a Metal Gear pun.
The trailer came right off the back of the Metal Gear Solid Volume 2 thing, didn't it? And it sort of it went straight from that into this, and the octopus was dressed with the bandana on, like Snake. Yeah, that was cool. And then I know Lyle's not so keen, but that Metal Gear Solid Volume 2, I cannot wait for that, because even though 4 is probably the worst in the series, I still want to play it again.
And it's been stuck for ages on like that hardware that can't be, can't be tamed.
Yeah, exactly.
And preservation's good. Anytime they bring
sure.
something forward that you can't easily get hold of anymore, is a good thing, because it gives them, like, younger generations. I mean, I know a lot of the time younger generations don't really want to play the older games, but it's good when the opportunity is there. And for people like our age, or your age, I'm a bit older, but like people our age, it's nice to get those games that we played 15 years ago.
Yeah, definitely. Like, I remember, I 4 is one of the Metal Gear games I have played through, and I definitely enjoyed it at the time. And like, I played that through like in uni dorms with like friends and shit. So it's got like real nostalgia for me, So like, I don't know. It's not maybe my first choice of something, but like, it's kind of cool. Like, maybe I will jump in. I don't know.
There was 2 other games that really stood out to me. The first one was was it from the Tenchu makers, the Shinobi Ops game? That looked really cool.
Yeah.
Like isometric, like ninja stealth game. And that was like, out of everything in the entire show, that was the one that really jumped out and grabbed me. And then at the end it said coming 2027, which was a little bit of a shame.
Yeah.
But that looked really cool. And then the Chicken Man game. Like, I don't know if I want to play it, but it definitely intrigued me.
No,
Chicken Man.
Yeah, Chicken Man, the big cock game. That's what I like to call it.
Big cock game. Yeah.
Big
Project Windless.
Big strutting cock. Yeah, I think it looks great. I love that sort of stuff, though. And I know, like, last week we were talking about weird games, and I was like, I don't like weird games. But like, it's like I've got a Wukong sort of look to it. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, I like that. I think it looks really good, really interesting.
And it was visually gorgeous, and the action was pretty exciting alongside it. Like, there was some like massive scale fights going on and stuff. Like, just looked very interesting. I'd be up for that for sure.
I just thought the character design was hilarious. Like, it's like almost like a sexy chicken man, isn't it? Like sexy chicken warrior.
Yeah, pretty much.
It's really quite strange. I really like the look of it, and I like the look of the game. Like, I just think it's going to be fun.
Yeah.
Project Windless. Obviously, it won't be called that. I don't know what they'll call it when it launches.
Yeah, big cock game.
Chicken of War. Big cock. I think big cock game works really well. Yeah.
Go for it. Yeah.
Chicken of War. Cock of War.
Cock of War's great. That's the one.
Actually, I should mention that just briefly, because I'm not going to really talk about it much. But I got that God of War game that dropped out of nowhere, the shadow drop of God of War Sons of Sparta, which there's a review for that up on the site as well, actually now. Which is, it wasn't very good. I didn't think. Like, I know a lot of people did like it. I didn't think it was very good. It's because it's Metroidvania for a start, and I love Metroidvanias, but because I play like. Do you like Metroidvania as much, Kieran? Do you play Metroidvanias much?
No, I don't. Anything like that.
I know Lyle's about on my level with Metroidvanias.
Yeah, for sure.
Like, if Metroidvania comes up, I'm going to try it, generally speaking. And usually I'll like elements of it. But I find that because I play so many Metroidvanias, I like it when they do something a little bit different every now and then. Like when they throw something in that feels like a little bit fresher, or a little bit like, it's got to have something that it's either got to have really, really good platforming, or really, really good combat, or really, really good art style, or something in it that makes it stand out in one way or another, because none of them are ever going to be fully unique because there's so many. But this didn't have any of that. It really felt like like it feels like a really generic sort of Metroidvania game, and it just happens to have God of War in the title. Like Kratos in it is like he's like supposed to be 13, even though he's built like fucking Jason Statham. Yeah, he's like meant to be 13.
I saw the screenshots and I did not think that.
Yeah, he's like 6 foot tall with a six pack, and then he's got this really irritating younger brother who just like called Demos, who I don't think is even anywhere else in the lore. So presumably he's going to cark it at some point, but he just pops up all the fucking time through the game, right? And you'll go into an area and the game will stop and you can't move, and then Demos will come running in with like the shitty animation that they use, and he'll talk to you in this like beach bro voice, like they sound like American teenage. At one point he's like, oh, we can't use this yet, we'll have to check back later. And it's like, what fucking year are we supposed to be in? There's like, and then Kratos, it's not even voiced by Christopher Judge, but the Kratos who's like the framing device of the story is like Kratos telling the story to his daughter, presumably before he goes apeshit and spreads them all over the kitchen. And like, his whole like demeanor is like Kratos. Like, it's a fairly good impression of what Christopher Judge does. You know, it's like, oh, stealing is okay if it's for a good cause, and Sparta and all that sort of. That's good. But then it cuts back to him, and he's just like, dude. And like my tagline in the review was like, dude, where's my Cyclops? Because I just couldn't get it out of my head that they were. It's just not very well made, and like, it doesn't have anything that feels like at the beginning of the game, the first thing you do is like kill a Cyclops with your brother. And I'm like, I thought Kratos became a badass later. Like, I thought.
Oh, yeah. Like, yeah, I kind of thought that was the point.
And and the whole point of this is like, you kill a Cyclops, you go to the village and you're like, we killed a Cyclops. And the guards are just like, and like, I killed 3 before breakfast, give me something impressive. And it's like, he's either a big deal or he's not. Like, he's either the son of Zeus or he's not. Do you know what I mean? It's like, like, it's really strange that he's just killing all these magical, mythical beasts as a teenager in Sparta, in ancient Greece, and no one gives a shit about it. And like, all the adults in the village are just like, oh, we're too busy to kill that Cyclops. You kids go have fun. And it's just the weirdest setup ever. And like, there's a bit where like, so Demos keeps interrupting you, and every time he does, it fucking nails on chalkboard, right? And then at a certain point, and he always says, we better split up. And then you walk 2 screens and he's there. Like, we're going in the same direction. I don't want you with me, but there's no point you running off ahead, leaving all the enemies for me to kill, and then just waiting at the campfire. But like, there's a bit where you get this like this statue head. And this statue head is basically your magical key to open loads of stuff. Like, you can open doors and activate switches by shining the light of this. And there's a bit where the sculptor who gives you this head is like, oh, I've managed to fashion this into a long-range communication device. I fucking shit you not. The voice of Demos comes through the PS5's speakers.
Just what you want.
I normally love that.
And like, Jesus Christ, he's given me a fucking Bluetooth device in ancient Greece. And like, I know there was a bit in one of the God of War games where like Kratos needed a torch, so he ripped a god's head off because its eyes glowed. Like, I remember that stuff.
Yeah.
Like that, and it's fun, right? But like, this was just so fucking stupid. Like, you basically just given me a mobile phone now. That's what you've done. Like, and now this fucker can get hold of me at any point. And it's just, and I said to Adam, like, I can't do this anymore. I'll push through as much as I can. I just didn't like it, and like, it obviously it wasn't made by, it wasn't like a Santa Monica game. They were involved in it somewhere down the line.
Yeah,
it was made by Megacat, and they're a new developer. So like, I don't want to be like crazy harsh, but like, it was like, I don't know what they were doing. Like, it's weird. It was, and I feel like Sony just sort of dropped. Like, I think that's why it was shadow dropped. I think because it was just like sent out to die, kind of. Like, here's a game. It's you fuckers will eat anything with God of War on it. Eat that, and it's like, cheers.
It is kind of wild though, because I just sort of like I wouldn't have thought they would really want to release something God of War that wasn't like this pinnacle of gaming thing that everyone talks about. Like, I can't think of anything else God of War where people don't love it, you know?
The cynic in me says that this was a Metroidvania game called Sons of Sparta, and Sony said, we'll publish it if you put God of War on it. Do you know what I mean? Like, we can make the main character called Kratos instead of, like, they were probably called Phobos and Deimos at one point, and then Sony were like, we'll change the tall one to Kratos, and we'll get some jobbing actor in to do a rough impression of Christopher Judge, and then we'll use that as and say
Job's a good one.
We'll say it's a God of War. That's kind of what it feels like. There's nothing about it that's got, like, you've even got a spear. You haven't got, I mean, you wouldn't have the wrist chains and stuff yet, but like, you've just got like a spear and a shield. Like, there's just nothing Kratosy about any of it. It's just, it was a very weird thing.
Was it not even like because that bit at the end of the show where they just before they showed the remake, the trilogy remake, didn't they? They had the
didn't
original.
Show it, I suppose.
Well, no, they showed the logo for it. They had the original voice actor for Kratos. So it wasn't even him that was doing the.
It's not him who does it in this game. No, I don't believe so.
He was cool as fuck.
But I do think I mean, look, I'm part of me. I'm very cynical with stuff like this, and part of me is really worried that when they do these God of War remakes, they're not going to I want a remaster of God of War. Yeah, I want, like, because the original games were fucking phenomenally good, and I want remastered versions of those. I don't want that story retold in the style of
modern God of War.
Yeah, of 2018 and Ragnarok. I don't want that. As much as I liked 2018 and Ragnarok, they were very different games to what God of War was. And people accepted them because they were good and because they were like Corey Balrog and because that he had, like, he knew what he was doing with the franchise and he took it in a certain direction. And and like, I know David Jaff is like, he's upset about anything Sony do that's not, you know, that he's not involved in. I know, but like, I kind of don't want them to remake them from the ground up and just give us like another Sony over the shoulder third person camera action open world thing. I don't want that.
We have enough of them, really.
Yeah, we kind of do now, and because they're all Sony games, you know, God of War, Horizon, Days Gone, Yote, Kenner. Yeah, it's true. It's true though. They all follow the same kind of template, and I would rather, for my money, I'd rather they rebuilt those games as they were, just with faster, smoother graphics and just sort of, I wouldn't even mind if they just fucking reskinned them, because they still kind of hold up pretty well. Like, I played.
They were so fun, those games. I don't think I played all of that, like that era of them, but like I love every time I did it was just like a total blast. Like,
they're always fun.
You would, yeah, for sure. Like, I don't know. It is a bit of a worry, isn't it?
Yeah, it is a little bit. But then they also showed this. So yeah, that was one thing. But like, and the other thing that caught my eye at the state of play was obviously John Wick. I know they didn't show again. They didn't show gameplay. They just showed, it's just a CGI basically, and it was, I think they'd used a lot of scenes from the films and then just sort of CGI'd over them, or CGI'd in a weird kind of way. But like, this is Saber Interactive, and they can't really do any wrong for me at the minute. I mean, they did fantastic job with World War Z, and you know, and then like Space Marine 2 is one of my current favorites. Like, it's absolutely fantastic, and they're doing like the Turok game.
True.
You know, they seem to be sort of everywhere now, and the success of sort of Space Marine 2, they didn't know it was going to be that successful. They had no idea what they were getting into when they sort of took that license, because Warhammer 40k is a behemoth, and like, and since that game brought millions of new people in, which they weren't expecting. and all of a sudden Saber Interactive are in a position where they used to be like a smaller indie sort of studio, and now they can sort of write their own checks. And like when you're getting handed franchises like John Wick, you know, and even Turok. I mean, there's some cachet in Turok, because Turok's like an old classic, and it hasn't had a good game for some time. So like, there's a lot riding on it, and like, yeah, and so I think that John Wick game, I don't know what it will be like. Like, I don't think we've seen any gameplay yet. But I'm looking forward to it because I like a bit of gun fu in games, and it looks like there's a game coming out which we'll talk about in a minute on the bonus pod. There's a game called Spine coming out that's like gun fu.
Yeah, I've seen that on TikTok. I've been seeing that for years actually. The guy's been working on that for a while now, hasn't he?
Yeah, and that's really frenetic and really fast and really up close gun combat and stuff, and like it's like Sifu with guns. And like if John Wick sort of does that, I'll be happy. Like that's because John Wick's so unique, like in among action franchises. Like the action in those films is really films still aren't really emulating it, which is really surprising to me, because I would have thought like it's how Keanu Reeves is in those films, like he's executing people with gunshots like from like 3 feet away and stuff, and like double taps everybody in the face, and it's like that. I was expecting that to be sort of emulated by everybody, and it hasn't been.
You think so? That feels like it's got as mass appeal as it gets, doesn't it? Everyone wants to watch that.
But yeah, so yeah, I think it was a good state of play.
That was really good, yeah.
All told, I think it did. I don't know, like it's really easy to be cynical these days, because we, like everybody, I feel like I think everybody goes into these things like whatever it is, whether it's like a Nintendo Direct or an Xbox Showcase or a Sony State of Play, people go into these things expecting like miracles, and everybody goes in expecting them to go, here's a new fucking God of War Ragnarok 2. Here's like, do you know, because they showed like Ghost of Yotei Legends, which I think looks really good.
That looked really cool.
That's going to be one I think we should get into. But like, everyone goes into these things with their own expectations, and they're not even expectations. They just have a wish list of things that they want to see, and then it's easy.
That could never possibly happen.
Yeah, exactly. And then it's always really people come away, and then because social media is such a platform for everybody has like an opinion on it, and it's like, it didn't show the one impossible game I wanted, so it was shit. And like, and it's difficult to talk to people when they're in that frame of mind. But like, I thought State of Play was good. I thought it had some really, it had a lot of games in it, and it had a lot of new games in it as well. It wasn't just stuff that we already knew about. They had like Crimson Moon, and there was a couple of absences. I don't think Phantom Blade Zero was there, which I was shocked at. That's
I was hoping, I wasn't expecting, but I was hoping that Little Devil Inside would show up as well, because that seems to be MIA for a couple of years now.
Yeah, well, Phantom Blade Zero they've been talking about for years, and then it had a lot of hands-on towards the back end of last year, and then it was absent from, I think it was absent from the State of Play, and it's due this year. So I thought there'd be something, maybe a release date trailer or something for that, but we didn't get one.
There were a few things like, I think quite a few people were thinking that something vaguely Final Fantasy related could come along, or anything from Square Enix at all, really. Yeah. But like, they were entirely absent. But I think, just like, I think, especially with anything like a State of Play or a Direct, like if you come away and have 4 or 5 games you're interested in that you weren't beforehand, even if not everything was for you, you've got like, that's a net bonus on your life now. Yeah, that's more hype for you to have for video games.
Yeah, exactly. That's a success in itself, isn't it? So because you get hype. That's what they're for, these shows. And sure. But yeah, so so that was a State of Play, which obviously there's an article on the site if you guys still need a roundup of anything, which Lyle was kind enough to knock together for us.
Midway between like vacuuming and cleaning out guinea pigs, I just pump out a few hundred words every time I got bored.
It is good though. It's where I did all my research. So it's worth checking out anyway. It's a good article, and it does give it's a good highlight article. It shows everything that's sort of was of interest. Some links in there to sort of trailers and things. So that's worth checking out if you're into that sort of thing. And I think that we'll call that a podcast, gents. I've been Mick Fraser. He's been Lyle Pendle. He's been Kieran Singh, and you guys have been lovely. Bye.
See you soon.
Bye.